New rule, no more late night building. Does anybody notice what both of these have in common as far as a mistake I made? Where's the drain wire? Yeah, the drain wire got cut off back here. Just a little brain hiccup building last night late. Now I can do several things here. I can go ahead and take this shrink wrap off, strip it back a little bit, and extend that drain wire out so I can twist it in with the ground wire on both of them. Or I can leave it like it is so I can test how much does that wire reduce interference without the drain wire. These are sometimes the choices electronics people make when they do a screw up like this. And I'm going to just expose all my screw ups. Others that I see on the internet seem to hide theirs. Jump over it. You can tell they edited it in the video, and if I was a turkey butt, I could go into the comments and say, hey, right there, you did X, Y, and Z. They're not asking for my advice. If they ask for my advice, I might put some in. But I feel like some of you guys make mistakes like this. We're all human. I want you to see that I do, so you don't feel as bad about it. And I just think that's the way to go about this. I see too many drone channels and stuff. One of the things that bothers me most is I see many drone channels where they are showing you what to do, but they're just showing you pictures of the sales information that the particular retailer put out. Like Crossfire, we'll just go straight at my telemetry problem. They're showing you how to hook up the Mav link, and they've got all these pretty pictures they've gotten from that vendor, but they never actually do it on the bench and show you. So when you try it and it don't work, that video doesn't help you a bit because you already followed what it says, but it's incomplete in my humble opinion. I am not an expert on drones. I have just flown RC airplanes a little bit. I've done a lot with rovers. I've done a lot with verticals, quads, hexes, stuff like that, but very little with airplanes at this point in my journey. But I know a hell of a lot about aircraft, flying, and electronics. I'll detail my electronics background for you soon. It's actually soon coming up for my 50th anniversary of beginning electronics training, and through 2022 I got a lot of 50th anniversaries. So I'm like you guys. I'm just a hobbyist. I've got great electronics. I've got a pretty good grasp of flight, airplanes. Not helicopters. No, I never flew a helicopter, so being able to fly a quad was, that was an accomplishment for me. But I am told that flying RC airplanes isn't quite like a real airplane. I can't figure that out because I think they fly the same. Would seem like getting out of a stall in an RC airplane would be exactly like getting out of a stall in a real airplane. Getting out of a tailspin in a RC airplane would be exactly like getting out of a tailspin in a real airplane. Landing seems like it would be the same. I see some subtle differences in, it looks like you have to keep your speed up in a turn on a lot of these airplanes. I think it's because of the wing design that you don't in a real airplane. You just basically fly, and if you got a coordinated turn going on, it flies around the turn well. But I'm told it's not the same. Now, there are differences that are radical A lot of airplanes, like the Skyhunter, for instance, doesn't have rudder control. It has ailerons and elevator only. It's what they refer to as a bank and yank. If that's what they're talking about, flying airplanes isn't exactly like real airplanes, well, yeah, that's radically different, but not so much. You don't really use the rudder in a turn in a real airplane if you're doing, if you know what you're doing. You do use it to, if your tail wants to swing out, you'll pull it back in with rudder, and if your tail drags, you'll lift it up with rudder in a turn just to make it a coordinated turn. But rudder isn't used radically in real airplanes. Prop-driven airplanes, especially single engines, you have to use your rudder. If you're going straight and level and you decide to climb, you're going to have to use rudder to stay straight and level. You can pull back on the yoke and you will go up. It's because of what's called P factor, the pitch factor of the propeller biting on one side harder than it does on the other. And if you flying straight and level and you push the yoke in to go down, you'll have to put the opposite rudder in to keep going straight. I don't know if that's true in airplanes. There's torque roll in real airplanes. It's not that big of a problem because generally we don't make big throttle changes. Anyway, I just wanted to detail my little screw up here, and I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do here. There's multiple things I could do. I also forgot to put the pins on the servo channels for the 765 wing. There's nothing for me to connect to here. That was just another brain hiccup. And I am going to use the 3 colors on the main 9 right in here, because I can just put them in and tack each end. It's the single pins that are a pain in the butt to keep straight and stuff. So I can put black and red in the middle for voltage and white for signal. That's cool. But out on number 1, which is out there by itself out here, instead of putting colored, I'm just going to put 3 that are one piece. And again, that just keeps them aligned better if there's more than one of these pins at a time. So I'll solder that up tonight. I don't have the flight controller in this, but I did. I don't know if we'll be able to see it. I did change the hole. I put one of my bamboo skewers through there on a diagonal, and then took a hot knife and made a big enough hole for the connector to go through. Man, I sure was just a little bit short on that connector. The flight controller isn't in there, and I'll show it to you when I do put it back in. But just making that one change so that wire could be diagonal, man, I got like a ½ inch of slack behind where I wanted to be now in that cable, so it's really good. I did, like I posted the last time, hot glue that airspeed sensor down there, and it was a problem. It seems there's these little tabs on the underside of this top, and this tab over there was just of the perfect to hit on the airspeed sensor and not want to close when I put it in. That happens to me, so I have never built one of these. I wasn't thinking that might hit. So you can see. Now you can see. So I just had to cut that corner so that foam wouldn't hit. Ain't that something? Boy, sure still coming down awful close to where that tubing's gonna be on that, isn't it? I didn't see that till just now. Decisions. Heat it up a little, hopefully not damaging the foam, and move it down. Do I leave it where it is? Started getting some of the other stuff together. This is another Runcam Phoenix 2, I believe, Josh Bardwell edition. I've just been having good luck with these. Let's see, is there an audio out on this? I bet that blue one might be audio out, and I can take, if there is a microphone in this, I don't know if there is or not. May not be. If there is, I can take the microphone out on this and put it to that audio connector cable on the video transmitter if there's no microphone in this. Can't do that. I'll have to look up the specs on this again. But I've been having pretty good luck with these. Tried several and had different problems with them. Well, how does that look to you? I soldered 3 pins right there and a bunch down through here. Whoops. The kid can still solder pretty good. I like it. Now I did put the black, red, and white for signal on there, and the 3 I did put over here, 3 blue ones for buzzer. I'm just getting tired of trying to do the little one color. Just making it easier on myself these days. There it is, all buttoned back up. Got pins here, pins all the way down through there. I did not put pins on outputs 11 and 12, which are right in those 2 right there, because they don't really have voltage and ground. They're actually, these 2 blue pins here, you could pick up voltage and ground for one of them, but that's neither here nor there. Got my 2 video cameras and my video transmitter there. Got the possibility of telemetry here, GPS compass here, and RC receiver. So, whoops. So that, hopefully I'll never have to open this one again, and it will last forever. Right. So I'm glad to have that done. So now I can put it back in the fuselage. But first, before I put it back in the fuselage, I'm just going to connect it here, USB, and go into iNav and ArduPilot and calibrate the accelerometers and start me up some files for my software configuration of both ArduPlane and iNav. There it is, remounted on the equipment tray. Like I say, the arrow will be facing the rear, and my leads will be coming out the front. The one for the ESC is just going to turn around 180, and the one for the battery will be close to the front. Now you can see what I was talking about last night. That logo, this approximate center of the flight controller is pretty much lined up. Might be a little aft of the dot right here, my center of gravity. And look, by doing the diagonal on the GPS module, look at how much slack I have in the cabling now. Boy. So that was fixed well. That's about where that will stay. Got all my pins on now, so I don't have to take it out again. Let's move forward. So there's my little connector for the video transmitter on one wing. Got signal, voltage, and ground right there in that connector that will hook right here on the flight controller, right down there. And I'm going to leave that smart audio white wire out because I don't have audio on the smart audio on this video transmitter, and I'm also going to leave this blue one loose, which if I add a microphone or get a camera with a microphone or something like that, I can actually transmit sound data through this wire. Probably going to cut that conductor off like I did the other one so it doesn't hurt anything. And there it is, connected. Oops, I didn't put any twists in it. Oh well, I'll take it back out and do that. There it is, connected to the flight controller with the smart audio wire just hanging because I don't have smart audio on this, and the audio on the VTX side waiting for some audio, and I have the little 4-pin connector up here to attach with the wing to the wing. Boy, that sticks way up out of there to be able to hook to. This will be the receiver side in the other wing. There'll be a Y connector in there someplace for the ailerons, and of course the wire that comes up from the ESC. They'll be in these connectors. Yeah, that one is a little long. Oh well, sometimes I have to have the length just to work with it easily. And there it is with a few twists in it, and it shortened it up like a 1/16 of an inch. I did put the motor on so I can run the wires down to the ESC. You can see down in there. And I hot glued the ESC right there behind the battery tray. And then you've seen I have a lot of excess cabling here, but I'm just going to let the wire from the flight controller kind of do a loop like this, whatever, in the fuselage underneath, and see what that does. I hot glued the GPS compass module down right there. I put the flight controller and the equipment tray back in and hooked up my ESC to pin 1, servo 1, right here. I'm pretty sure that's where the ESC is going to go. So far I'm a little unclear on where to put the 1 aileron wire and the elevator, but I'll figure that out. There's my 2 little connectors for the video transmitter on one wing, receiver on the other wing. Again, GPS cable is quite long enough now, and you can see right now the flight controller seems to be a little behind the center of gravity to me, but I'll work all that out. I probably won't have to take that tray out again, I hope. Hate all that extra cabling down in there, but that's the brakes. I'll have to finalize the position of that wire, put on the tubing, and put the airspeed sensor in the front. I've sort of decided I'll just leave the motor on there for the rest of the build. The props would really be in the way, but the motor not so much. And I think I said I put a battery on it and a servo tester, and I did make sure of my direction of rotation. So let me see what else I need to do besides the wing connectors. Can you tell I'm procrastinating on that one? Well, the wires are wired up to the connector. Some of them were a little longer. It's not pretty, but I think it's electrically sound. And after fighting that tonight, I'm going to have to pull that blue one back down and bend it the other way. After fighting that tonight, oh man, did I get one of my pins down? I'm not going to fight the 6-wire one tonight. So I got the airspeed installed, kind of hot glued down underneath here. There's no way I'll get a camera to it. I guess I'll put a little bitty tie wrap right there. Not cinched down tight enough to constrict the airflow in the tubes, just enough to control where it's at a little bit there. That goes over to there. I also did hot glue a little right here so that the wires will stay put there. Oh, as you saw, I didn't like that wing. That was so stressful. I'm just going to back off for the night. So for the whole overall build, I have the other 6 wires to put on a connector on the wing so it can be attached to this connector for RC receiver, and to put the pan and tilt camera on it. That may take a while. I kind of know what I'm going to do, but it isn't written in stone yet. So we're going to call that it for today, with so little left it isn't even funny. And then we'll start the software tuning. Thank you so much.